This year for Christmas, I am not buying my family sustainable gifts, and here's why. Last year, I bought my family gifts that were sustainable, fair trade, and all around good for the planet. Unfortunately, that didn't really work out as well as I planned. So this year, I'm not buying them sustainable gifts. And here are the 3 reasons why. The first reason is because it won't be used. In an attempt to buy sustainable gifts, I lost sight of what my family really wanted. And while I ended up buying them gifts that I thought they might like, they weren't really things that my family would use. The second reason is it's too expensive. I'm a firm believer that not all sustainable swaps are more expensive. In fact, in my own life, I know that some of these swaps have actually saved me money. But if I'm really taking into consideration things that my family want for Christmas, sometimes if I'm looking at a more sustainable or ethical version of the gift they want, it's too expensive and goes out of my price range. If you're in a situation like this, I think it's important to ask yourself, is there something else on their Christmas list that is sustainable and in my budget? If the answer is yes, great, go ahead and get that. And if the answer is no, ask yourself, if this person really wants this item, that means that they're going to be using it. Am I comfortable with getting them this item that they really want? And the third and final reason why I'm not going to be buying sustainable gifts this year is because it came across as too pushy. Last year, I had a family member confide in me and tell me that my sustainable gifts made them feel like I was trying to force them into living a zero waste or low waste lifestyle. It was never my intent to make them feel like they needed to live like me, and it was definitely never my intent to make them feel inferior. When you buy somebody something that is sustainable but maybe isn't something that they're likely to use, it almost comes across as your gift ideas, they were okay, but they weren't enough. Like, you need to be more sustainable. You need to live a better life. And of course, that's not how I wanted it to come across. And so for those reasons, I'm not going to be purchasing sustainable gifts this year, or at least sustainable in the traditional sense. Obviously, I'm going to be purchasing gifts that don't conflict heavily with my personal values, like buying plastic water bottles filled with glitter and slime and everything like that. But I also want to be mindful of other people's wants and my own budget. And I think that for this year at least, that means buying things for people that they're actually going to be using, so that it doesn't go to waste, so that it's not too expensive and out of my price range, and so that it doesn't make them feel like I'm pushing my values onto them. Without further ado, here are the gifts that I got my family this year. This year, the gift I got my mom is something that she specifically requested after seeing my own, which is what I'll be showing you today, and that is this oil dispenser. I really love this because I use it almost every day to measure oil. The top part measures it by teaspoons and tablespoons, and milliliters is on this side, and you press these 2 buttons and it fills up to the specific amount that you want. So if you stop it, then it's less, and if you keep pressing it, then there's more. I use this every day. It's something I hope she'll use a lot. It makes my cooking and my baking a lot easier, and I think that in terms of sustainability, it's actually not too bad. It's made of glass here, plastic up top, but it is something that I think will last a long time and be used often. The second gift is the gift that I got my sister for Christmas, and this is an item that she's actually replacing. So she's had this item in the past and she wanted to replace it, and this is actually an item that I use every week, and it's probably something that I would consider a sustainable swap, and that is a silicone baking mat. So a silicone baking mat, if you're not familiar with it, it just replaces aluminum foil or parchment paper for when you bake or cook something in the oven, and I use this every week, as I previously mentioned. It saves me money because I'm not having to run out to the store and grab parchment paper or aluminum, and I always know that I'll always have some, so there's no fear of running out. The third and final gift that I'll be showing you today is a gift for my dad. Now, I did ask him what he wanted for Christmas, and he took a really long time to get back to me. So I actually purchased him something, and then he told me what he wanted for Christmas. So I'm also going to be purchasing him that, but I don't have that to show you today. So I will be showing you what I originally purchased him, and that is the Fuzi phone case. The Fuzi phone case is basically just a pouch that you put your phone in, and it protects it from water and from extreme heat and cold. It was a product featured on Shark Tank, and I think that because my dad does a lot of outdoor activities both in the summer and in the winter, that it'll be good at protecting his phone. I did end up purchasing this item from Mercari, which is basically like Poshmark, so I did thrift this item. The item was new, but the box was damaged. I'm not sure if that's the reason why the individual was getting rid of the product, but I do hope that this purchase helps eliminate some waste from the landfill. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope that this has given you some insight onto what you can do in terms of gifting people more sustainably, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Smaller gifts that I'm giving. No. That was rough.